Welcome to Weld.com. I'm looking for my needle nose. I lost them. We're going to do a couple of welds. I'm playing around here today. I've already dressed. I'm doing some stuff on this sMIG. Okay, 035 C25 gas running short arc, and I have this set at 3/16, but I got to do something a little strange here. A while back we did a video on this rocket stove design, and it had a confluence of square tubing, and when I did it with the students, when I was helping them build their project, which we'll pull out here and take a look at, we'll do a whole video on the rocket stove completion, the design, everything. When we were doing these stoves, I listened to this weld the student was making, and I saw where she was at in the weld, and I'm going, oh, wait a minute, wait, and I stopped her, and I knew the machine well enough, and I walked over and I did a volt and a wire feed speed change, and absolutely nailed it right on the money. This thing made a real tight, smooth weld down. It doesn't need to be a great big weld, and it would be kind of the same as this thing here. Wire sticking out way long because we're not changing the nozzle. We're getting way back up inside there. Anyway, I want to do this weld here and do the same thing, and I just want to show how this machine will take over and compensate for it, because we didn't hit it necessarily as well as we should have. I think I made a value change on the voltage, and I didn't turn the wire up enough. I believe it kind of went in real slow. The weld was okay, but man, it did ever sound horrible on audio, and got dinged on it by a couple of viewers, and that's okay. I mean, you know, as long as you did it respectfully, that's cool. So, you know, we're not perfect. We're learning. I'm learning. So let's start out, and we'll try this rascal here. Again, we're on 3/16 material. I've got the wire feed speed set at 250 inches a minute. I'm doing a very slight stitch here, just kind of a forward pause. Whoops. Somebody laid a wire out there for me, and I ran over the top of it, made it pop. How about that? Okay, now I want to come over here on the back side. I mean, we see this weld and it sounded okay, and it's blended in there okay. Now I want to come over on this side so that I can see. I'm going to prop this up a little bit so you can see as well. Now, granted, this wire is sticking way further back up in there. My electrical stick out past the contact tip is quite a bit further. After the machine reads what's going on, it should smooth itself out quite a bit. Here we go. A little bit of a rough start. And that's normal. That's quite a ways back up in there. I'm a good 1.25 inches past my contact tip. That's quite a ways. Okay, a minute ago we did this weld inside here, reaching way down in there. My stick out was like 1.25 inches, had to be. I went ahead and cut it off, I'm sorry. But, you know, everything ran smooth. We've got about a 3/16 of a weld face showing. So if I had to reach inside here and do a seal weld, this is bonded nicely on the toes of the weld. But one thing I haven't messed with yet is there's yet another adjustment here. This is all written for fillet welds, which essentially this is a fillet weld. I have an adjustment that it looks like it'll show me a concave fillet weld. So I'm going to make yet another weld on the back side and make another adjustment for the front side. Actually, I'll leave them both the same. What I expect to see is more arc voltage yet. I expect this to be flatter by the indication of the icon on the scale here. Pulled the trigger on this 2 inches here with an adjustment made on a value change inside this program where the icon shows to be a concave fillet weld. Just as we expected, it responded with more arc volts, more voltage on here. It's still the same width, but you could tell by the sound that it was just real wet. It kind of sounded like that mistake that I made when I made the value adjustment on the other ESAB and we were doing the rocket stove. So I mean, you know, halfway in between where we were before and this, probably absolutely perfect. Again, we're running this for the first time. Now, let me go ahead and turn this over and I'll go just the opposite on this same icon and I'll turn it all the way up to the max Convex fillet weld. That's about how much electrical stick out I have, about 1.25 inches. So let's do this part of the weld over here in front of us and see what we come up with. We made the adjustment here on this lower value icon we turned it over to the max concave type, and we expected it to be a little colder, and sure enough, I mean, it kind of, to me, as soon as I pulled the trigger, it acted like it was laboring to weld, and then it went ahead and popped a couple of times and settled down. To look at the weld, it looks colder, peaked. It's still the same size, but I believe we read a different value altogether of like 2 or 3 volts lower. So, you know, hey, what are we trying to do here? Well, we're running off of an sMIG, which pretty much takes care of things for you. If you don't want to make value changes within volts and amps, you can set up for material thickness to do straight fillet welds. It should be pretty straight up. You know, let's say that you were making a weld and you thought, wow, that's just a little more convex than I wanted. You could turn it and get just a few more volts into it and straighten this weld out. I think everything runs great. Is, you know, right in the middle of the scale is where I'm going to prefer to run things, and then adjust my wire feed speed, probably because I'm, you know, that's just the way I adjust machines, you know. So again, I think this is a cool machine. I really do. I'm going to get to know this, and you know, the more I play with it, the more I learn, the more I know how to show you guys stuff. But to me, I'm learning. I hope that you saw and heard what happened as far as results. And again, we're not trying to make huge welds back up in here. That is a very small weld, and it's in there pretty good. So I hope this helps. I hope it's been educational for you. Appreciate your comments and positive feedback, or feedback altogether, as long as it's respectful. Appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe to the videos. Bob Moffett with Weld.com. Thank you.